1. The drug lord who offered to pay off a country's debt. In the 1980s, Colombia was drowning in financial problems while Pablo Escobar was drowning in money. At the peak of his empire, Escobar reportedly offered to pay off billions of dollars of Colombia's national debt in exchange for one thing: protection from extradition to the United States. Think about how insane that sounds. One criminal had accumulated so much wealth that he believed he could negotiate directly with an entire government like a billionaire businessman making a corporate deal. And honestly, he wasn't completely wrong. That's how powerful he had become. 2. His cartel made hundreds of millions every week. Most people hear the word cartel and imagine a secret criminal group hiding in dark rooms. But the Medellín Cartel operated more like a giant multinational corporation. At one point, the cartel reportedly earned around $420 million every single week from cocaine trafficking. Every week. The operation became so massive that planes were constantly moving drugs across borders, while money poured back into Colombia faster than they could physically count it. 3. They lost millions because rats ate the cash. When you make that much illegal money, banks become a problem. Escobar couldn't exactly walk into a financial institution carrying truckloads of drug cash, so the cartel hid billions inside walls, warehouses, underground bunkers, and abandoned buildings. According to Escobar's own brother, around 10% of the money was lost every year because rats literally chewed through stacks of cash. Imagine becoming so rich that rodents eating millions of dollars barely affects your empire. 4. Rubber bands became a major expense. Escobar's organization handled such absurd amounts of physical cash that they reportedly spent thousands of dollars every month just on rubber bands. Workers constantly bundled stacks of bills together because there was simply too much money flowing through the cartel. Some former members claimed counting machines overheated from non-stop use. At that point, the empire stopped looking like organized crime and started looking like a bizarre financial machine printing endless cash. 5. He built a luxury prison for himself. After years of violence between Escobar and the Colombian government, a shocking agreement was made. Escobar would surrender, but only if he could build and live inside his own prison. That prison became La Catedral, and it looked more like a luxury resort than a jail. It had waterfalls, bars, soccer fields, large suites, and even parties. Guards were loyal to Escobar instead of the government. He continued managing parts of his empire while technically being imprisoned. 6. He burned millions just to stay warm. While hiding from authorities in the mountains during his final years, Escobar's family reportedly became trapped in freezing conditions. According to accounts from his son, Escobar burned around $2 million in cash inside a fireplace to keep his daughter warm. That moment perfectly captured how disconnected his wealth had become from reality. The same money people kill for had become nothing more than fuel for survival. 7. He imported exotic animals like a billionaire king. At his massive estate known as Hacienda Nápoles, Escobar created a private zoo filled with exotic animals imported illegally from around the world. There were giraffes, elephants, zebras, ostriches, and hippopotamuses. After his death, some of the hippos escaped into the wild and began reproducing rapidly. Decades later, Colombia still struggles with the environmental impact of Escobar's cocaine hippos. 8. He tried to become a real politician. Before becoming the world's most wanted drug lord, Escobar tried building a legitimate political career. He wore suits, gave speeches, donated money to poor communities, and even became an alternate congressman in Colombia. To struggling neighborhoods, he looked generous and powerful. But behind the polished image was a man funding one of the largest drug empires in history. His political ambitions showed that Escobar didn't just want wealth. He wanted legitimacy and control. 9. Entire neighborhoods protected him. Many poor communities in Medellín supported Escobar because he built houses, soccer fields, and public projects where the government had failed. Some families saw him as a Robin Hood figure who actually helped ordinary people survive. This created a terrifying situation for authorities because locals often warned Escobar about police movements. He wasn't hiding alone. In many places, entire communities helped protect him. 10. He turned fear into a business strategy. Escobar's famous phrase was plata o plomo, silver or lead. Accept the bribe or face violence. Judges, police officers, journalists, and politicians constantly faced impossible choices. Corruption spread through institutions because refusing Escobar could mean death. Fear became one of the most powerful tools in his empire, allowing him to control systems far larger than any ordinary criminal organization should ever influence. 11. He was once among the richest men alive. For several years, Forbes listed Escobar among the richest people on Earth. His estimated fortune reached around $30 billion during the late 1980s. And remember, much of his money wasn't even officially tracked. Hidden cash, secret properties, offshore operations, and uncounted assets likely made the real number even larger. A man who started in poverty had built a fortune rivaling global corporations. 12. The search for him became an international war. Capturing Escobar eventually became one of the largest manhunts in modern history. Colombian police forces worked alongside U.S. intelligence agencies, while rival cartels and vigilante groups also hunted him down. Helicopters searched cities. Phone calls were monitored. Entire military operations were launched. The hunt for one man turned into a global operation because Escobar's influence had grown too large for Colombia to handle alone. 13. His smuggling methods were insanely creative. Escobar's cartel smuggled cocaine using hidden compartments inside cars, airplanes, frozen food shipments, industrial equipment, and even airplane tires. Pilots flew dangerous routes non-stop between countries. Some planes landed on remote roads in the middle of nowhere before disappearing again into the night. The cartel constantly adapted because billions of dollars depended on staying ahead of law enforcement. 14. His death didn't end the drug trade. When Escobar was finally killed in 1993, many people believed the cocaine industry would collapse. Instead, the opposite happened. Smaller cartels quickly replaced his organization while trafficking routes evolved across multiple countries. Escobar's death proved something disturbing. The global drug trade had become larger than any single person. Removing the king didn't destroy the system. 15. His story was never really about money. Most people think Pablo Escobar's story is about becoming rich, but the deeper truth is darker than that. Escobar's empire became a warning about what happens when unlimited wealth combines with corruption, fear, violence, and weak institutions. At some point, the money stopped mattering. What Escobar truly chased was control, and for a brief moment in history, he almost had it.